Hi guys, today I want to talk to you about abundance oil. This is a blend and it may be one that you've maybe tried, you may not have tried it. The best way that I want to describe it, if you think about a smell, think about more of a spa. So like it's more of that spa smell. One thing I'll tell you, my personal experience with this is I wasn't necessarily crazy about it when I first started oils, but one of my friends, it was her favorite oil. But I will tell you, the more that I started cleaning stuff out of my home and switching stuff over, I now do like abundance. I know my mom, it's one of her favorite oils that she puts in the diffuser. So this is one that you're going to put in the diffuser and it's one that you're going to wear. But what I want to tell you about today is I want to talk about the components of this oil and in this blend. And so what I want to say is that they are actually magnified. So the components of the oil in here are magnified in vibration, creating the law of attraction and energy frequency, more of prosperity and plenitude. Okay, don't want you to think that that's weird. So I'm going to give you an example. If you walked into a room and in that room, like you're going to decide who am I going to hang out with for the night. So like maybe you're at a party and like you notice these people in one spot and they're laughing and they're having fun and they're all talking. And then you can notice over in another corner, maybe some people are kind of standing there in the chair and they're like twiddling their thumbs, not doing a whole lot. You are probably more attracted to going over to that crowd because you maybe have friends in each group, but you're probably going to go to the crowd where people are having a fun time. So when I talk about energy and frequency and that's what that relates to. So I just want to clarify that so it doesn't sound weird because I know that's how I had to think through it. So I found some really cool things. Gary Young used to do a lot of teaching and he talked about the products that he put together. And so I want to tell you in a summary about what he talked about, how he created this particular blend. What he said was on the spiritual side and emotional side, he chose these oils in making abundance for that reason. Like myrrh and frankincense, he said these were two oils that were brought to the Christ child. We learn about this, especially like as we come like around December, like, you know, it's gold, frankincense, myrrh. And he said of all the kings and pharaohs, they all processed frankincense and myrrh. So frankincense and myrrh are two oils that are in this blend. People traded like back in biblical times, people traded land, they traded wives, they traded anything. And the oils were their barter system and the means of money. So they believe that those who possess the most oil actually attracted the greatest wealth. So there is a 5,000-year history behind the oils having a legacy of attracting wealth. And so this is kind of an energy that is attracted to these oils. Patchouli is another oil that is in here. This was actually used in India for attracting wealth. Clove was another one that came from southern India. Those who possessed clove attracted wealth. Spruce and ginger were used for grounding and balancing. So energetically, abundance is for attracting wealth, but it also like changing the physical and the emotional to where you can attract it and hang on to it. Orange oil in here, that is one that brings happiness. We talk about the citrus oils, all like are just make people happy. It creates a feeling of joy and ease and peace inside. So if you want to attract like wealth, I mean, why not attract it when you're being happy? Gary asked to put the primary components of myrrh in here because it has limonene, and limonene is very powerful. Myrrh has aldehydes. Aldehydes are very calming and sedating to the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems. The myrrh oil itself has a property that is antiviral, and that antiviral effect is about 75 to 85% effective. And it is a powerful anti-inflammatory of the property of that oil itself. Frankincense is also one of the highest in sesquiterpenes, and it will penetrate the blood-brain barrier. So one of the things, like if people are really like down in the dumps all the time, oxygen, generally there's an oxygen deprivation to the brain, and an increase in oxygen to your brain may help you not be down in the dumps. So many times you want to just smell frankincense. Like, you know, frankincense comes in our starter kit. And when I used to be working my corporate job, I literally would hold that bottle and smell frankincense all the way to work. So the myrrh in here, we talked a little bit about myrrh, but that was a biblical oil, and the people who possessed it had wealth. So myrrh is the kingly oil. Or patchouli, when we talked about oxygen, that is a great oxygen transport mechanism for your brain. So why did Gary put all these oxygen type oils? Like why is Kara talking about oxygen here? So why did he put these oils in here? Because people lack abundance. A lot of times that starts in your brain. So you get that brain paralysis about finances, being able to like move forward. People kind of get stuck. And so we hear sometimes a lot, like, you know, when we do self-development, we hear about just like, how do you move forward? How do you get out from being stuck? Sometimes it's just that lack of oxygen in your brain. And when you don't have that, you really don't have that vision where you can like just move forward. So like, that's where he put a lot of these oxygen type oils in here. Patchouli, a little more about that. It can reduce stress and the nervous tension. It may help you sleep better. It has relaxing properties. The orange oil, in addition to what I talked about, there's some esters that are very calming. Orange helps with obsessions and fears in the emotional aspect on us, so we can see a little better. The clove oil, I think it's somewhere around like 300,000 on the ORAC scale for the antioxidant level. This contains eugenol, which is really important for the numbing and the antiseptic effect. Clove oil in general is very highly antibacterial. Oils of the Orient were associated with great abundance, and clove is one of those ones. Cinnamon is in here, and that's regarded by emperors of China and India to have great value. Ginger oil in general is an antibacterial, but it's really good for the stomach, and this helps break up mucus in the body. Ginger was highly in the ancient times. It can be amplified for that law of attraction. And then when you look at spruce oil, this has a compound called methyl salicyate, and it smells amazing. Like I love those type of oils. Spruce also has a monoterpene. Monoterpenes are antibacterial, antifungal, antiseptic. It also contains sesquiterpenes. It is a great, powerful oil for your brain again. If you know anyone that could use mental health support, spruce oil is fabulous for that. It is also good if you needed support in candida or any sort of skin discomfort. That is a good one, and spruce can help promote a sense of balance. Now, a tip with using the abundance oil is maybe there's an oil called Release, and if you put that one on first to help kind of release the emotions that are maybe preventing you a little bit from receiving that abundance. That isn't meant to sound like funny, but like it's just try using release oil before you use abundance. So when you seek abundance, it doesn't just mean money. It can be love, it could be success, it could be health, it could be happiness. So use it in the air. You could use it on your skin. Some of the things I've heard, like when we were at convention and Gary talked about, and when I was brand new, I'm like, this sounds weird. It really isn't. It's chemistry, it's physics. It's put abundance on like your resume, put it on mail. I remember one of the first conventions and Gary was talking and he's like, okay, he was talking about abundance oil and he goes, how many of you put abundance in your mailbox? And we're like, what? He had people stand up and there are all these people like standing up and they had like abundance in their mailbox. And it's one of those laws of attraction. So like when I talked about, if you're at this party and people are over there and that's just what you're attracted to. So it's a physical like energy is kind of where it is. You could use it as your perfume. You could put it in just on your wallet, just put it on your wallet in general, put it on your business cards. I'm going to tell you a personal story. One of my friends and I, we were doing a vendor show for Grandma's Marathon which is a big marathon here in Minnesota. And so we had heard that story at convention where Gary talks about it. And so we had a booth and we're like, okay, we were doing our thing and we're handing out peppermint to people and spritzers and all of that. And we're like, you know what? Let's just try that abundance thing. Let's just put this in our diffuser. I am not kidding. Like in 15 minutes, our table was packed. I mean, you looked around and we're like, this is craziness. I mean, our table was packed with people checking it out, and then it ran out. And so it was kind of like, because, you know, we wanted enough because we were changing it up, and we're like, okay, let's try it again. I mean, because we were there all day. Same thing. So it's just, it's one of those things where it's not going to hurt anything. It's kind of more of that spa smell. So you got to have that strong spa smell, but put it on things that you like. Some people will put it in their paint when they're painting their office. So just think about it more of that spa smell, and it's meant to attract good things. Attracting just meaning it's what people are drawn to. So that's kind of the tidbits and information I had. How do you two use it?
So I'm like you. When I first started, abundance was, and people kept giving me abundance, and it's like, I don't really like this one. But same thing. It's like as time went on, and I really now really do like abundance. And when we do shows and stuff like that, that's when we always do in our diffuser. The the one of the good things, just from a physical perspective on abundance, is it really is one of those that has a lot of um, antiviral, antibacterial properties. So it is a good one if you are just wanting to switch up oils, which I would encourage you to do. Like we're in a season where we're going into winter, and there's like this crazy virus going around the world and everything. And it's always a good thing to kind of switch up your oils. Abundance would be a good one. Put it on the bottoms of your feet at night, like switch up instead of thieves or instead of Exodus 2. Sometimes try abundance because it has all of those amazing properties that will build your immune system, will keep you healthy, will help fight those kinds of things. So it is truly a great oil.
One of the ways that we use abundance in our house is I add it into my laundry soap. So I take my Thieves laundry soap and I add a couple drops of abundance into each of the capfuls that I add in, or I'll just take the bottle and dump like 30 or 40 drops into the bottle. And that's one of the ways that I kind of change up how we do our laundry in the winter, because of how great it is for our immune systems, as well as just keeping everything clean. So that's one of the ways we use it. Another way is I will add a couple drops of abundance to my Thieves foaming hand soap, just to kind of bump up everything in the winter time. And then when I'm putting it on my body, if you mix it up in a spray, just depending on how your skin reacts to it, only spray your clothing. Don't spray your skin with it. But if you are going to put it on your skin, one of the things that I was told to do is to put abundance on your shoulders, so that you have an abundance of people coming alongside of you, linking arms with you, or put abundance on your feet with the mindset of, I'm going to be walking in abundance today. So I would do that if I was having a bad day or just kind of feeling down, is I would smear abundance all over my feet, and then smear abundance all over my shoulders, and then go about my day. And I always felt like it flipped, just not necessarily just how I was perceiving the day, but also who was coming alongside of me for the day. And the more positive people you have around you, the easier it is to be positive. The more negative people you have around you, the easier it is to get drugged down. But we really like abundance. It's definitely one of those ones where it has a very unique smell. And one of my girlfriends, she always puts it in her hair, and she uses her hair as a diffuser, you smell it when you need to. Sorry about the dog. But she put it in her hair, and before we got to the airport, because we were going to be exposed to a lot of different people's germs, and we walked through security and to our gate, and we started to notice that this guy was following us, and we were like, what's going on? And he followed us all the way to our gate, and he came up to us and he's like, I'm not trying to be creepy, And I'm sorry if I'm freaking you out a little bit, but you guys smell amazing. And I was like, really? I mean, we're both wearing oils. So we pulled out the oils that we had on. And when she pulled out Abundance, he's like, that smells fantastic. And she's like, here, just put some on your hands and smear it all over yourself, or, I'll share some with you. And he's like, I need to get this too. So that's usually the one that you see, like, everybody either love it or you grow to love it in time as you use it. And then if you are using it to attract wealth, take your checkbook. Do not put it on the checks. Drop the oil on the deposit slips in the back, because you want the money coming in, not going out. So that just when you're doing stuff with abundance, it's very, very important that you set intention and you're intentional with it, because you might end up with the opposite effect. So if you're using abundance and you're like, I'm spending more money than I'm making, you maybe put it on your checkbook and on the checks instead of the deposit slips. So be very intentional with this oil, because I think that it is a very powerful oil when you pair it with your thoughts and your words.